What's up YouTube, this is DWS Darius, and in this video I'm going to give you guys a fish room update. So first off, I initially was planning not to give you guys an update. I wanted to get everything in order because this fish room is under construction, and then I would have showed you guys the outcome, and that would have been maybe about 3 or 4 months later. But I decided that it's best if I'm going to do reconstruction, I'll take you along with me and just show you step by step what I'm doing. So this is going to be my fish room update to show you what's going on now and just some of my plans. So I'm going to start off as always with the 55-gallon planting tank. As I said before in the previous video, one of my favorite tanks just because the peacefulness of the fish, the beauty of the tank, and just the ease of caring for this tank, definitely a great combination. So first off, with the plants, I have my Cryptospiralis jungle to the right of the tank, which is established now. Before I told you guys that I just ripped it all up because it grew in the center and I tossed it over there, and I had to wait like a week or two for it to establish to get nice and firm in a substrate. So now it is established and it's growing again, so that's awesome. But then I have the little wall that I'm trying to grow back there, and to the left I have my big Amazon sword. I'm trying to grow a carpet now of dwarf hairgrass, and this is pretty hard because the strands are just so tiny that it's hard to really get them set in the substrate. Every now and then I come and see the fish uproot them. So once they get established, I got a feeling it will look awesome. The only problem is I gotta get it established. I gotta make sure that it's in there without the fish able to uproot it, so that it can just have a chance to spread. I think that if this dwarf sash does spread, it's just gonna look amazing. As far as fish, I have what you see right there in the middle, my Bosmani rainbow fish. The only one that survived out of his group, the rest all went jumping. I have some Siamese algae eaters, some old tiger barbs, about 5 years old. They're starting to die off now, but I still have about 4 left. The main fish of the tank are my roseline sharks, which I have 4 of them, and my Harlequin rasbora, which recently I just found out that these are not all Harlequin rasbora. The video when I did my amazing fish, the group that was in that video, those weren't Harlequin rasbora, those were pork chop rasbora, which are very similar but different. As you can see, I have some rasbora right in here now. You can see right here in the center, that guy right there is a Harlequin rasbora. If you look at the spot on his back fin, it's a lot bigger than these other fish that I keep. Now this is the other type. You can see that the spot is smaller and these fish are more brighter. So I'm not sure how good you can see it from your screen, but there is a difference. However, it's good to know that they school together, and I'm going to keep them together. But that was a little mistake that I made early. When I bought them, it was told to me that they were Harlequin. However, some of you guys were able to point out the difference, and after doing research, I do agree that I have 2 different types of rasbora. But once again, being that they school together, they're going to stay together and look awesome. So that's the 55-gallon planting tank. Next, I'll take you over to the next tank that I've been talking about a lot recently, which is my green terror tank. And the reason why I've been talking about this tank is because these fish, well, this particular male is in beast mode, which means he's been showing absolute amazing color for a continuous period, and I'm loving it. He's awesome. That's his female right now. She's a little scared, but she's awesome as well. If you saw my video where I had the parrot cichlid trying to break up the green terrors that were fighting, this was one of the green terrors that were fighting, and in that video she showed awesome color. That was when she was fighting another female, and I actually thought she was a male. So I have a colorful female, well, a female that has potential to show color. I have a colorful male, and that means these offspring have a chance of looking awesome. So I have mixed offspring in here. I went to the pond, I pulled out some of those mid-devils, and I had them with these green terrors, and the parents don't really notice. They're ready to spawn again, so they pretty much don't even care about these guys. They're ready to start a new generation. But yeah, I had them all living together. Let me see if I can show you one of the difference. And the thing is, being that the parents have just so much color, some of these green terror juveniles are showing awesome color at this tiny age. Right now they're about 1 centimeter long, and if you look at his cheeks, you can see the little green speckles. And this fish is 1 centimeter long, so definitely showing great potential of just being beast. That's another one right there with the green little cheeks. Look at that. And he's only 1 centimeter long, so these fish definitely have awesome potential. Look at my finger compared. Actually, it looks, yeah, he's about 1 centimeter. But yeah, and then you have these other types. Now the green terrors are the ones with the single spot on their side, which is like This guy in the center, he has that little single spot in his stomach. That's the green terrors. Now these other ones are the red devils, which have the single spot followed by a few smaller spots. Those are the mid devils. And right now I have more mid devils than green terrors, but I'm going to try to grow them up together and figure out what to do next. But yeah, that's my little green terror family. So above this tank, I have a 125-gallon mixed tank. Now before, I called this my South American tank because I had all fish from South America. However, I combined two tanks. I had that little 55 that was over there. The fish were non-stop hiding, so I decided to bring them over and toss them in here. In this tank, they've been very active, very social. So this is no longer a South American tank, just a mixed tank until I figure out what to do with the extras that I added to this tank. So first off, with this tank, we have my green terrors, which I've been showing off recently. Not green terrors, my Geophagus red humps. I've been showing them off because they're looking awesome. The male is ready to spawn again after having a successful batch right there. And this 20-gallon, I have about 20 individuals growing up. So that's their first spawn. And he's ready to go at it again with his female. So that's just awesome that these fish are just ready to produce so much. Other than that, I have a few other single pairs of Geophagus. So I have this one right here. As always, I always forget their names, but this is a single guy. I started off with 2 of each, and that was a dumb thing for me to do because 2 fish together of the same species, they will fight unless they're paired or unless you have a good group where they can spread their aggression, because they're going to have a hierarchy, and if you just have 2, there's a good chance that one is going to kill the other. So I had 2 of these guys, he killed the other. 2 of those guys, he killed his other. What else? 2 of these, and he killed his other. So now I'm left with 3 just solo riders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all their offspring that are growing up down there. When they grow up, I'm going to toss them in here. They're going to be my main Geophagus colony. I'm still going to keep these lone riders in here with them. And this tank, I also keep my angelfish, which I plan on adding a few more. And these gouramis, which are starting to become a favorite to me. I love how active they are. I love the fact that they just keep that upper level of the tank nice and active. They stay up here. And they're just really interesting fish. I've kept gouramis before, but back when I wasn't as educated as I am in the fish hobby, now that I know more, it's just really awesome to watch these fish and their behavior. So I'm definitely planning on adding more to this tank. And the last group of fish will have the silver dollars as well in here chilling. But the last main group of this fish, last main group of fish in this tank is my cichlids. And right now, I just have them in here with 3. I'm trying to find a pair. Right here is believed to be a female. Look at her colors. Definitely a stunning fish, very beautiful. But with that beauty, a ton of aggression. So that's one reason why I got to get them out of here. But yeah, I'm trying to look for a pair. So I think that this is a female, just because they said that females have the little black on her top dorsal fin. What else? I have this one up here, which I also believe a female, because you can see he has that little, or she has that little spot on the dorsal fin. Then I have this tiny one, which really doesn't have any spot on the dorsal fin, which I'm hoping is a male. And then eventually they should pair off, and I can separate them the same way I have the green terror separated. But yeah, these fish remind me a little bit of umbies. They look a little bit like them. They just get a lot smaller, and that aggression is pretty much similar to an umbie. So that's just like my mini umbies of the fish room. Next, I'll take you over to the saltwater tank. This right here is my 40-gallon saltwater tank. I just woke it up about an hour ago, so everything isn't expanded as it could be, but this tank is doing well for the most part. I did wake up to bad news this morning because I found this guy. You can't see him too well, but that's my 6-line wrasse. I found him on the floor today, and I have a covering on my top, but guess what? That little piece right there is where he jumped out at, and just goes to show you can't give your fish any room. Keep that top just completely covered. That's the best way to go when it comes to reef aquariums, because reef fish just love to fly. But as far as the other fish, these clownfish are doing awesome. These fish have been in this tank since day one, and they're just thriving. Anytime I put my hand in the tank in that section, they bite me and attack me. Then I have the pajama garners, which are doing good. These fish aren't as active as I would like them to be, but they still show just awesome color. I have my shrimp cleaner shrimps, my skunk cleaner shrimps, which are doing awesome. I have a pistol shrimp living in that little cave under there, and I'm guessing he's the one who ate my old skunk cleaner shrimp and one of my peppermint shrimps. I'm getting a little shrimp tongue twisted, but yeah, he's in there. I have hermit crabs everywhere. I have a special hermit crab which comes when I stick my hand in, and it comes and clean my fingers, so he's pretty awesome. And I'm sure you can't really see it too well, but in there is a little, he's sticking his face a little bit. That right there is a red stoplight carnivore. That fish is just so bright red, it's awesome, but he likes to hide, so that's his downfall. But other than that, the reefs has been doing okay. I have my yellow polyps still taking over. My devil's hand leather coral, about the size of my own hand now. That frog spawn, when it's fully open, it takes up a nice portion of that side of the tank. Has 3 heads going on 4 heads now. I have this hammer and that hammer, both with 2 heads. I have some Montipora growing up there, they're doing nicely. A Duncan coral has about 10 heads. I started with 1, so that's always a good to know how fast and how good that's growing. But yeah, overall the reef is doing nice. I just added my well, I've been had it, but I just restarted my protein skimmer after it wasn't running for 6 months. So I'm just going to see if I really need it. I'm starting to think now that I don't need it, and I'm going to try to replace it and get a refugium. So that's a future plan. But yeah, this is the reef as of today. And then lastly, we have the 125-gallon African cichlid tank. Fish are doing well. Last time I did an update, I told you guys that they were fighting because the new fish that I added last year were coming up in size, trying to gain a new spot in the hierarchy. And now that everything is pretty much settled, they have their spots, they established their spots, the aggression level has went down, so that's awesome. So as before, this red top cobalt is the boss of the tank. He's looking awesome. Second boss, third boss, fourth boss, I don't really know how that works. This younger group is pretty different. Before I had 1 boss, 2 boss, 3 boss, I was able to point them out. Now they all have different roles, so it's a weird type of setup, but I'm just satisfied that there's no aggression. I have my clown loaches. The biggest fish in this tank is a clown loach. I'm not sure where he's at. For such a big fish, he always finds some awesome hiding places, but he's the biggest fish in this tank. But everyone in this tank is pretty much doing awesome. That's my species 44 showing just awesome color. And yeah, this is the African cichlid tank. Okay, YouTube, so the last tank on this tank tour is my 210-gallon cichlid tank. Now, as always, during the daytime, the glare is terrible because surrounded by windows, but try to bear with me as much as you can. So for those of you who don't know, I just lost one fish that was going to be the main attraction of this tank, my Jardini arowana. He jumped out, and the crazy thing is I was home that day. I was downstairs doing water changes in the basement, and I didn't hear him. I came up that day. I wanted to go turn the lights on, and he was gone, and right away I knew he jumped out. I was able to dig to the back, and I got his body out, but I didn't want to show you guys because it was just a huge loss. He was going to be the main attraction of this tank. But now that he's gone, I'm going to go in a different direction, kind of the complete opposite direction. Before I was going for just that big fish type of setup. Now I want to try to get some big fish with small schooling fish. Now most of the time this isn't possible. However, I've been watching some of these fish and some of their characteristics, and I think that they could do it. So that means I'm going to have to get rid of some and keep some. However, if it works out, it's going to be awesome. So that's just going to be one of my future projects. As I said before, I might be bringing up the silver dollars up here, the both smiley rainbows, and still keeping some of these monster fish based upon how I see them and how I expect them to respond with smaller fish. So that is a project to come, and hopefully it works out. But for now, everybody in this tank still doing awesome. The butter cophori, the Oscar lost his dominance. I shared that too also on Facebook. So he lost his dominance, so he's not in the front as he was before, showing off his color. Now you have the Midas, top dog, he stays in the front, stays on patrol. Next you have the tilapia, then the Oscar, followed by Jaguar and Chocolate, which are pretty much at the same spot during the hierarchy. And these are some awesome fish. Jaguar and Chocolate, some of my oldest cichlids that I currently keep. I'm close to 5 years keeping these fish, so definitely historic fish. But yeah, that's a look at the 210. Okay, YouTube, so that has been a look at the fish room. So there are plans to do a few changes. I have the empty 75 gallon. If anything, I'm going to take the green tappers out of there and toss them up there. If I could get my salvonite to pair, they're going to go inside one of these 55s. That 20 gallon I might break down to set up my 29 gallon, which I will use my 3D background that Jay Wilson gave to me in his 2016 contest a while ago. So I'll set that up. And then I might have some platy fried outside, which I added 8 to that pond outside. A few months later I have about 20, so I gotta add those to one of these tanks. And yeah, as far as now, I can't really tell you the direct direction that I'm going in this fish room. However, I do tell you that I will continue in this hobby. I will continue to improve. So I encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already. I want to thank everybody that just takes the time to support me. I appreciate all the comments that you give me, all the support, all the likes, all that stuff. Just really encourages me in this hobby. I said it before, and I'll say it again. I just really appreciate you all. And that will be all. So if you haven't already, once again, subscribe because more is coming. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you want, you can share it. And that will be a wrap.